We are going to start with our Bible story from God's Good News. And so we're talking about David and Goliath today, and it's called Brave and Loving David. David and the Giant. The Philistines gathered their armies to battle. The Philistines stood on a mountain on one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side with a valley in between them. A champion went out from the Philistines named Goliath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span, more than 9 feet. He cried out to Israel, "Choose a man and let him come down to me. If he is able to kill me, we will be your servants. But if I kill him, then you shall serve us." Saul and all of Israel were greatly afraid. Jesse had 8 sons, and the 3 oldest had gone with King Saul to fight the battle. Jesse sent his youngest son, David, to check on his brothers. When David came to the army camp, he heard Goliath saying bad things about God and challenging the Israelite soldiers to fight. And then David said to Saul, "Your servant will go and fight the Philistines." David the shepherd had killed both lion and bear to protect his sheep. He knew that God, who delivered him from the lion and the bear, would protect him from Goliath. David took his staff, and he chose for himself 5 smooth stones from the brook and put them in a shepherd's bag, and his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistines. Then David said to the Philistine, "You come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, whom you have defied. The battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands." David took out a stone, and he slung it and struck the Philistine in his forehead, and he fell on his face to the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone, and struck the Philistine and killed him. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled. Young David faced a giant named Goliath, a member of the Philistine nation, a bitter enemy of God's people. Goliath was more than 9 feet tall and clothed with heavy armor. His spear was about the size of a tree trunk. Goliath was one of the largest men in recorded history, and David volunteered to fight Goliath for God's army. Goliath had David out-armed and out-experienced. Goliath was a great warrior. David was not. His only weapon was a slingshot and a deep dependence on God, and God gave him the victory.